If only this was more like the last session, where I was Venice getting my teeth kicked in. I have a wonderful quote from Johann. He said, "Yeah, I was subsidizing anybody that would go to war with Jake." Thanks, Johann. No conspiracy against the new guy, right? It's cutthroat here, though. Everybody wants those trophies, but only 3 people can get them. So if we have Burgundy sitting here in 5th place, England doing a bit of a salty job over in 11th, they're going to need a victory card if they're going to want to take the early lead. All that matters is the end game, but 2nd place for the Mughals. Oddly enough, a previously eliminated player taking 1st place, most likely because they could get their victory card early. But those 1,000 points won't change, and the point generation actually accelerates over time. So there won't be any more victory cards until 1530. 1,000 points, let's be honest, you could take it or leave it when the end results end up being something like 12,000, 15,000. But a 2,000 card? A 3,000 card? All of them put together? This is what tempts people. This is what makes Hungary see Austria as a good ally, but a better target for those victory card provinces. Must own, control, and have cored all 3 provinces of Austria proper. And I brought it up before, but it bears repeating. The cards are based on the areas that you see here. We've got the area of Karela, of Pomor, the lowlands, the highlands, Mercia, Wessex, they're all around, and they're part of greater regions. That's right, Gotland, you own the Baltic Sea. Also, being asked for progress on that random new world. Let's see, it seems that we are still a little too far away to go for the rich lands of the south, but England have now established a nice bit of land here. As soon as these complete, that should be enough for a colony. We can check that out. That's probably not the one I'm looking for. Colonial Ekarnatua. Not the wealthiest of places around, in fact we can double check on that one. Indeed, all the provinces here are fairly low in development, with the exception of this one, striking out at a nice 11. But yeah, it's virgin land, sitting at 3 more or less across the board. Well, I mean, it's cold up there. Even colder than my home, so no thank you there. If we were to stroll across here, might see something a bit nicer. Again, we've got some 11, 7, 8, 5. You know, that's not bad for land you just stroll in, plant a flag, and say is yours. It's worth remembering though that Portugal also have their eyes set over here. They've been colonising their way down and around. Gotta get that coffee and that tropical wood. Perhaps they're taking advantage of the fact that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on the random new world. So maybe no one will notice if they just slip out and grab the Asian lands. Well, that's something to consider. Muscovy is gloating, as Grugi often does, that he has eclipsed England with 582 development. You would eclipse many people. But Great Britain's strong. Great Britain is very strong. These French provinces, they're pretty damn good. And they're doing well to unite their country. One country, one faith. And if they formed Great Britain, then that means, yep, administrative tech 10. As usual, there's been lots of minor bits of upkeep and tarting up for the new patch. As you can see here, these have been reorganized, make them easier to check at a glance, sometimes with some new information. score added as well, if that floats your boat. And a quick check of their tech levels as well. Queen Anne Lancaster the First. Good military for the people of Great Britain, as they go for both quantity and defensive. So Wiz wants a large and very strong army, it seems. I mean, who doesn't? But he's putting in the points for it instead of focusing on both exploration and expansion. Often what you want to do if you want it all and want it now. Like if you are Portugal. There's also questions about Muscovy's scorecard, whilst Figwig explain further. Oh man, I don't often see the people of Tafilalt. In fact, I'd hazard to say I've never seen them. And I don't think I'll be seeing them again. We got a little sidetrack there. We want to have a look at Muscovy. What's their scorecard? Tell me what's your scorecard. It's on White Ruthenia, and Hungary is currently gobbling all of that up. Muscovy may want to bargain a little with Hungary in order to ensure that White Ruthenia can stay in his hands, but to be honest, Muscovy does not really have any bargaining chips here. Hungary remains allied with Bohemia and Austria. And Hungary did keep some White Ruthenia for themselves. What an upstart. Does Muscovy have the might or the diplomatic sway to tell them to give that back for their scorecard? It might only be 1,000 points here and now, but late game, if Muscovy really wants to take that top position, and I know Grugi will want it, then is he going to have to fight for it and take it? It is, after all, the right culture as well. Belarusian part of the Russian one. I know where that flag came from. That was Kilwas. Must have been from checking out the Portuguese. That's what happens when you dance around a little too much as an observer. Great Britain's going to have to put those large, strong troops to the test because Catholic zealots loyal to France have decided to rise up. In the many. Gascony is quite a rich province, and it seems the Catholics want to show their might. Come on, go around, convert it back to the one true faith. Now, Wiz, the player of England turned Great Britain, he project lead and also great on the AI work. It was always nice to see when some AI rebels put him in his place. No really need to siege this back down. The fort in Poitou will be retaking it anyway. But he's going for it. You'll be fine, right? Okay, maybe it's a little cruel to watch and laugh. Being asked if anybody has taken the new espionage ideas. I don't think it would be too suited to a Western tech country early on in the game. Question is if anybody has decided to go for it. I don't think I can quickly check everyone at a glance for that. But I can enjoy watching the rebellion take down Labourd. Better watch your income there. Greykolf getting straight to the matter that all players should lose score, whilst Hungary have these borders. I'd be a firm advocate for a border gore casus belli, but I'd have to pass that one by a few people. Well and truly, peace reigns in the world. There's not a single player that's at war now. Traditionally, though, we don't tend to get much war at the end of a session unless it's already been started. It's a dangerous thing to start a war towards the end of a session, since you won't finish it there and then, and that gives all the people you're fighting a whole week to plot against you. Let's say England and Burgundy decided to double team France right now. There's only so much you can do in 5 minutes, but for the whole week after that, France could go to Austria and say, "Listen, buddy, you got that scorecard on Burgundy, don't you? I think it's time you ripped it right from their spine." Or, "Hey, Spain, you don't want to be under Great Britain's thumb in the New World all game, do you? Perhaps I can work something out where you can be the rightful owner of Western France." Things like that. That is why late game war tends not to happen so often. Right, Denmark playing it a lot safer with the aggressive expansion here. The legacy of Danish Sieg von Wittelbach shall ring through history. That's another little thing we've added. Sieg, I don't think, is a traditional Danish name. Many strange things happen in that country. I wouldn't want to judge, but I still don't think Zeke is a name there. But Zeke is the name of the player, letter Z, so he has self-inserted. Doesn't seem that many others have, choosing to stick with the original or a randomized name. Or have they? Wouldn't want to say. It's dangerous to give Grugi this much power and freedom, since he is a very gloaty individual. Bear in mind they also have Livonian Order under them, and I'd be surprised if they weren't going to get them integrated on the double. That said, they could force their religion. Okay, we now have Reformed breaking out. My favourite type of Christianity. I love the little bonuses you get there. And Brandenburg is embracing it, probably wanting to get that military fervour on the go to further enhance their super space marines when it comes to that later on in the game. I really like that shade of sewage green. But it's odd that the Mingles have not started their domination of India. They have the troops, the manpower, the money. Granted, they could have more of it, more of everything. And I'm sure they've got something planned. This could well be part of why they decided not to raze Delhi to the ground. That is now their capital. Defend it to the last man indeed. Can be a little hard to push and pull trade there, so they may be wanting to relocate to Persia. That is up to them. I mean, they're already collecting there. Yeah, as suspected, the main trade node is already there. Persia is lovely because you can close it off for the most part. It'll only flow out to Aleppo, and Aleppo, I believe, only has one center of trade, so there's only so much that can drain out of it. Perhaps perturbed by too much peace, Bahmanas have decided to go in for it. But that's nothing more than picking off the scraps while the Mughals can eye up the entire subcontinent. Looks like we'll be ending at the end of this year, so the year of our Lord, 1526 in January, that's when we'll be coming to an end. And we'll more than likely get some folks in here to talk about how it went. how they felt the features were, anything that perturbed them, anything they particularly enjoyed, and their plans for world domination. Now, although I like to reiterate that this is hot code, and what we are playing with here is currently under development, it's been lovely and stable, which is what we want to see. Whether or not we want to see stability in terms of lack of war, that is a different thing. Sometimes it makes me want to jump in there and stir the pot a bit, but when I do that, I tend to get my teeth kicked out. And the Ottomans doing well to harvest the bonuses, and this is an AI in charge here, harvesting the bonuses from their estates, keeping them happy and powerful, but not too powerful. You keep them a lick below 80, there's the danger you could get an event or something similar to drive up their influence. And then following that, you don't want a noble coup, I assure you. I assure you, you do not want that disaster. But the bonuses are very sweet and tantalizing. There's always the balance that has to be made there. Come now, Muscovy. They're just a ragtag of rebels. Sure, finances are a little ragged, though. Since we're going to be ending, I want to take one last look at the New World, only to see that Castile have decided, or rather Spain have decided, it is their destiny to control the south. Great Britain aren't going to let this pass by, because Great Britain, I wonder if they actually know. Great Britain know that that is where the money is. And that will be the end of the session. Okay. Ah, perhaps not. Seems that they want an extra year to run. Perhaps even 2. Oh well. I've been made to look like a fool. That's all well and good, and nothing particularly new. It's probably safe to assume that there's going to be long-lasting friendship between Spain and Portugal, since a Castilian move, if you want Portugal to simply not get in your way, is just destroy them from the start. And if they decided to be friends, I don't think a 1,000 point victory card is going to change anything. A secondary 2,000 point card, also in Portugal, could change the flow of that, but there's also a good chance that that could end up on France. And then France would be seen as a delicious target from everyone around him, because Milan's going to want some of these provinces. I believe it is no longer Imperial Italy. Yes, the Austrian Emperor failed to establish imperial dominance over Italy, so all the Italians just went, nah, I'm out of here. Pope for life. Nonetheless, they remain emperor, having not passed a single reform, even though they help everyone. Even so, nobody seems all that keen to wage war right at the end. I don't want to sound disappointed. It's just fun to watch the world burn. Okay, Wiz has decreed we end at the end of the year. Probably had enough of trying to defeat these rebels. He managed though. Labourd remains Protestant. There's still a bit of work to be done in terms of conversion there. And his centre of reformation spreading out, converting the lands around. Won't be long until these are finished and a colonial nation is established. But I do wonder if Wiz is going to hang around in these islands. It is good, logistically, to have this under his control. However, if we take a look at exactly what Great Britain can see, he knows there's riches to be had here. And if he were to flip over to development, he'll be able to see there's something to be had there, even if he can't see it all that clearly. There's exploring to be done. Yeah, we never had a proper look at Europe with this map mode on. Can be good to see the real places that you want to burn to the ground if you're a horde. You look at this and say, yes, I think I will make a beeline to Paris, please. That would be worth more than a few points to burn down. Sorry, Patrick, it's the truth. It's also worth noting that development on your capital can be made significantly cheaper if you are a big old country. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, changing your capital can be made more expensive as well. Oh? Got all excited thinking that perhaps Wiz goes against the norm and decides to wage a big war right at the end, but nope. Maximilian Zero in the chat saying, isn't every province a good place to burn down? Well, when you're in the swing of things perhaps, but you will want to keep in mind that you may want to keep particularly good provinces just to have them as such. Buildings stack really well on high development provinces. But deep down I just want to burn them all to the ground. I cannot deny it. And have a look at some of the AI hordes and how they're doing. Mongolia manifesting their destiny, having consumed the Oirat. And we touched on their syncretic faith earlier, and I'm glad we did, because they only had one Sunni province before. They went on to demolish rather a few more, but because they keep Sunni as syncretic and they are Tengri, there's no problem, and they're not really getting much in the way of revolts from them. They do, however, have some very high autonomy around here, so that's not so hot for Mongolia. Still. Just loot and plunder, my friend, and you'll do just fine. Buryatia have a gold province, I believe. Oh, and what a gold province. Now there's an idea of a time that you perhaps would not want to burn something to the ground. Gold is gold. Yeah, previously we just had a base tax map mode, and that used to work fine. But with the introduction of the whole development system, essentially base tax would only tell you 1/3 of the picture, so nice to get a bit more in there. Drugi once again gloating, but this time about his loins, for he has pushed out Boris Rukovic. Not bad, 534, don't think anybody could rightfully complain about that one.